Palma de Mallorca is the capital of an island in the Mediterranean Sea with the same name. It is a city with a long and exciting history. The cathedral sits high above the Parque De La Mar. La Salle, the imposing cathedral, is one of the most beautiful sacred buildings in the world, as well as being one of the most magnificent Gothic buildings on the island. Sandstone from Santanyi gives the masonry its warm, honey yellow colour. Centuries of continuous construction have resulted in many artistic styles being in the building. The interior houses 20 chapels from different eras. King Jaume I laid the foundation stone in 1230, when the island was recaptured from Moorish rule. Replacing an Islamic mosque, which in turn had previously displaced a Byzantine chapel. The cathedral was originally intended to become the mausoleum for the Mallorcan royal house, and Jaume II and III are buried here. Next to the bishop's church is the Diocesan Museum in the Palau Episcopal, built on the foundations of a Moorish mosque. Exhibitions are held here, including worldwide collections by historical societies. As well as exhibits from churches and monasteries of the island. To the south, adjacent to the cathedral, is the Palau de l'Almudaina, the King's Palace. The history of this palace reflects the city's history. Initially, it was built as the residence for the Moorish emirs. However, after the city was taken back from the Moors in 1281, King Jaume II had the palace rebuilt in Gothic style. A fortified complex of sturdy walls with towers and airy arcades. Spiritual and secular power have always settled in close proximity. The elegant rooms are furnished with valuable Flemish and Spanish tapestries. The palace chapel continues to indicate the deep faith of that era. Later, the palace became the seat of the King of Spain. In the Barri Gòtic Old Town, which has changed little over the centuries, real treasures can be found hidden in the labyrinth of narrow streets. From the outside, the aristocratic buildings are mostly dilapidated, and one can only imagine the former elegant everyday life. Through a small garden behind a wall, a path leads to an Arabic bath. The Banys Àrabs are considered to be the only completely preserved Mallorcan buildings of the Moorish period. The Santa Eulalia church dominates the plaza with its bell tower and elegant neo-Gothic facade. One of the oldest places of worship in the city, built shortly after the Christians' defeat of the Moors. The many bricked-up windows let in little light. The large rose window being the only source of light. A short detour leads into the lower town to the Plaça de Vila, with the Grand Hotel in Catalan Art Nouveau, the once famous Fawn Bakery and the Town Hall. In 1281, the Franciscans started to build the Basilica Sant Francesc on the foundations of a mosque. The late Gothic cloister is formed by finely chiselled arches resting on delicate columns, each with different heads. The interior of the one-nave church is resplendent with exuberant gold decorations and artistic carvings. Saint Francis looks down benevolently from the high altar. Sayuja can be described as the cathedral of economic success. This magnificent Gothic building near the harbour served as a stock exchange for the maritime trade until 1830. Small parts of the massive city wall can still be seen. The protection of the city needed to be increased as it was the trading centre for gold and goods. The remains of some windmills behind the city wall evoke the memories of former defensive towers. The mighty Castel del Bellver, the castle of the beautiful view, overlooks the harbour area and the city. King Jaume I commissioned this fortress at the beginning of the 14th century, shortly after the conquest of the island. And so, one of the most important fortifications in Europe was built. Suitable for defence, with watchtowers, ramparts and ditches. The Pearl of the Mediterranean has survived and stands as an echo of the past.